Hey lovelies, it's Peter and Sal here from Strong Healthy Women, and welcome to Talking Wellbeing TV, where we share hints, tips and advice about the foundations of wellbeing. And today's topic is challenges. And what is your biggest challenge? So it's not so much about do you like doing challenges, but what do you find is a challenge when it comes to your health and well-being? There are women out there who seem to look like they've got it all going on. We know those women. But deep down, they're probably just like you and I. They're average, and they probably have something going on inside that we don't know about. And so we're all exactly the same. Just when we see the exterior of it, we don't necessarily know what's going on behind the scenes as well too. So they probably haven't got it all going on. So don't compare yourself. That's rule number one. So I wanted to actually start today, Sel, because we have this massive, massive list. We've been asking this question about from different ladies, what's your biggest challenge? And we've got things like not being able to lose weight as fast as I'd like to, breaking through plateaus, being consistent, just to keep active, motivation and following through, losing my last 3 kilos, menopause, staying active with a desk job, getting motivated and staying motivated, losing weight during menopause, osteoporosis. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. So there's lots of things in there that we could talk about. Is there one thing there, Sel, for you that you think, that's what I want to talk about?
It's motivation. That seems to be a recurring theme. That question is motivation.
Yeah, how do I get motivation?
Yeah. And I don't think it's a matter of getting motivation. You don't get motivation. No. It comes from being consistent, taking that first step, and then the next day taking that step again, and then the next day taking that step again. So it comes down to consistency. And if you're setting your goals, if you set goals with that consistency, then being persistent and knowing that your persistency is going to pay off. There will come a point where it pays off.
Yeah. I think really when it comes to motivation and that reason that we have and that we say it's motivation, if we really think of it as being a layer, like an onion, and we start to peel it back, what we'll find is underneath there, that motivation reason that we're giving, there's probably going to be something else. It could be that I don't know how to take that first step, or I'm scared to take that first step, or that I have tried before and I've failed, and so therefore I think I'm going to fail again. So I think there's a lot of reasons that go into that motivation bucket that we've seen over the years. Would you agree with that?
Yes. And one I'd like to add to that is, and we always talk about this, aches and pains. If I do it, then I'm probably going to be worse off. And that's not the case.
Yeah, I actually did see that as one of the reasons that in the list that we've got there is that I will get aches and pains from exercising, so therefore I don't. So, yeah, and yet we know that movement is, hey there, Ruth, how are you?
Hey,
yet we know exercise is good for us. We know that we need to do it, but it's just taking that first step. And so I read something a little while ago and I love what it said. And that was action leads to motivation. So we need to take that action first. Once we take that action, then the motivation itself will start to escalate for us. It will start to feel better. We'll start to feel higher and better about ourselves. So Ruth's just saying here, she's just she said, long time, I know, on holidays now, time for some exercise. Yes, okay. So are you going to go and do some exercise now? I just want to, that actually prompts me to say something, because I want to give shout out to Moira. So, you know, we could tell she was in a different environment this morning. And I said to her, where are you, Moira? And she said, I'm in Daydream Island. And I've gone, I'm dreaming of Daydream Island. So she's out there having a lovely holiday. But she hasn't forgotten about that routine that she has. So, and that's important, is to be able to create that habit, that daily practice of moving, no matter where you are and what you're doing. Your cat's tail keeps going across your face like that, so it's getting very
right
distracting.
beside me, waiting for a pat. But I just want to add too, with Moira this morning, like, she wasn't able to take her weight, so she improvised with the water bottles.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So shout out to you, Moira. Woo 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 woo. So yeah, ladies, when you are thinking about motivation, I want you to just take that step away. I want you to put yourself in an environment that's quiet, and so you can actually think about it, and think about it as being that onion, and start peeling back the layers of it and say, well, what is really stopping me from taking the action? So I don't want you to think about it as being motivation. I want you to think about it as, there's something that's holding me back from taking action. And whatever that is that's holding you back, when you know that, then you can start to address it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And take the time to write it down. Take the time to write it down and let go with the writing. Just write crazy. And you'll be surprised what might come to you.
And so we have these three foundations at Strong Healthy Women, which are move, eat, and live. And so when we go through that list that we were looking at today, there's a lot that fits into the move category. So I want to exercise, you know, I've got aches and pains. I, you know, want to start kayaking again, but, you know, I'm not strong enough to be able to do it, all those types of things. Then there are those that fit into the eat category, which is, you know, knowing what foods to eat for the aging body. Well, the reality is the body is aging, but do we need special foods? No, food is food. And if we fuel our body and we listen to our body, then, you know, we are going to get the results that we want, the results that will keep us motivated and that will keep us moving forward. So, I mean, there's so much out there. There's low carb, there's, you know, no carbs, there's keto, there's paleo, the list just goes on and on and on. The reality is that as long as it's real food, whole foods, then we should be able to eat it. But it's really important to listen to our body, because our body will tell us if there's something about that food that is not sitting well with it. And you ever had something place up?
And the place that you'll feel it is in your stomach. Absolutely. You know, how many times have we had bread and gone, oh, I just feel, ugh. We know that if we listen to our stomach with the foods that we eat and take notice of it, then they're the foods that you can, you know, cut back on or cut out of your diet.
Yeah. So when it comes to eating, a lot of us get really, really focused on, you know, our macros and our micros. The reality is eat more veggies,
Yes.
eat more real food, have more variety, have lots of colours.
Yes. Take it back to
Yeah.
you. As you said, there's so much out there, and we often will see something and, oh, that looks good, so I'll get some more information on it. Oh, that looks good, I'll get some more information on it. You know, 2
Yeah.
days later, we're so overwhelmed with all this information that we go, oh, it's too hard.
Yeah.
I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. You know, take it back
Yes.
to the
Yes.
50s and the 60s when it was meat and 3 veg, as you said. Lots of colour.
Yeah.
Put your protein in and your good fats.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I love what you just said there. Just remind me of what that was. I've lost my
About
train
the
of thought with it.
information overload and it being too hard.
Oh, yeah. Information overload. That was it. Yeah. How many of us actually go, oh, great recipe book out. And then we buy another recipe book. And then, oh, gee, that recipe book looks good too. So we buy another recipe book and we keep adding more and more recipe books. But I wonder how many recipe books you actually have on your shelf that you've never cooked out of, that you've never, ever opened it. And if that is the case, ladies, here's a challenge for you today, is to go to that recipe book and actually open it up at a page and make that meal today. And if you're not going to do that, then take it off the shelf and go and donate it somewhere. And if you've never used it, you might be able to re-gift it for Christmas.
Yeah, re-gift it for Christmas.
Yeah, thinking
Someone out there
ahead,
getting
just
a new
thinking
recipe
ahead.
book.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Ruth made a valid point here. If you don't recognise the ingredients on the package, what does that do to your body? Yeah, look, if you don't recognise the package, what the ingredients are, you just put it back on the shelf, pretty much.
Yes, and we did this.
Yeah.
I think a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, and it was interesting because you had the protein bar from the health food aisle and the protein bar from the, you know, normal muesli bar aisle.
Yep.
And the protein bar had more
from the health section
and sugars and less protein in it than the muesli bar from the protein aisle. So read your ingredients.
Oh, yeah.
You know, protein powder, when we're recommending people, you know, we're asked that question, which protein powder I should go for. Anything with 25 grams or more, your proteins must always be bigger than your carbohydrates.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then, of course, the third component is the live component. So the live component is like, how do you want to live? So what is it that you want to do with your life? And how is that going to, so what you're doing now, how is that going to impact that life in the future as well too? So do you want to live that life that's bold and out there? Or do you want to live that life where you're sitting inside the four walls going, you know, this aches, that aches. I can't go out and do that because it's not, you know, I just don't have the energy or I just don't have the motivation. And I know if I ask you that question, you're going to say, I want to live my life bold. Is that right?
Yes.
We're all going to say that, but it comes down to taking the action. And I know that's easier said than done, but it's a small step. That's all it takes. It's one step. It doesn't have to be massive. And I think that this is what can happen is we look at that goal. You know, if I go through some of those lists that we were talking about earlier, you know, I want to lose 5 kilos, I want to lose 3 kilos, you know, I want to get rid of the menopause, you know, belly, all of those types of things. So we're focused on that goal and we're looking at it and we're going, well, that's too hard to do. So therefore we do nothing about it. Whereas if we just go, you know what, today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drink more water. Something as basic as more water is going to help flush your body out. It's going to, pep up your body. It's going to help your cells restore. It's going to give you a bit more energy. So, yeah, all that from a little glass of water. So, just increasing the water intake by 1 glass a day could have that starting impact for you. And the wonderful thing about that is it's pretty easy to do. And it's something that you can just keep doing. So it's that small step. It's easy enough. We just keep doing it. And it comes back to what you said, Self. We're being consistent with it. And so being consistent means I'm going to have a win. And so what happens is for many of us, after 7 days, 14 days of making these massive changes in our life, we just go, so many changes, I can't keep going with this. And so we give it up. We walk away from it. Whereas if we took that small step and we just got consistent with it and we mastered it, so we made it part of our habit. So one of the things that we asked the insiders on Friday night was, what's that habit that you now have that's automatic for you? And water was one of the things that came up quite a lot. What was one of the other things that they actually said, Sal?
Breakfast. Well, Tanya's was an interesting one. I love Tanya's because hers wasn't about habits she's created, it was about habits she has broken, which I thought was wonderful. She was a big snack eater. And so because she did the 28-day Fueled Up and there was specific snacks on there, she's continued with that. So she said that she's broken that habit of snack eating after dinner and snacking during the day, which I thought was wonderful.
Yeah, and her and Justine, they both said the same thing, that they had stopped that snacking. And I mean, for Tanya, what is she, like 9.6 kilos that she has dropped in 2 months? Yeah.
2 months.
And Justine was, I think, close to 8 kilos or something or other. Yes. But the biggest thing was the body fat reduction. It was like almost 10% body fat reduction, because what's happened is they've combined that healthy eating with the strength training. And so they've been building that muscle as they've been going. So many times we see ladies who have lost a lot of weight, but, their skin is very loose. And that's because they've lost it through cardio. And so they haven't been building that muscle strength up as they go. And I love that Ruth just said here, what's the point in living longer if we are weak and we need help to do our activities of daily living? It's so very true.
So I met a lady. I just want to add in there, I met this beautiful lady today. I was at the supermarket and I noticed this little lady, shorter than me, so that's a big thing because I'm not very tall. Yeah, that's short. And so she had her walker, but she also had a stick to help her get stuff on the top shelf down. So I said, oh, do you need some help? Because she was having trouble. And I was talking to her, and so she was saying she's 91. She was dressed in her Sunday best, had her makeup on, 91, still driving, lives by herself. She has this little bucket that she has on her walker. She had her groceries in there. It was nothing but fresh food. Cooks her own meals. She said, the only thing I need help with is the housework. She said, I'm not ready to go into a home yet. And she was just beautiful. You know, so she's out there living her life.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of the research on, those people who have lived over the age of 100, there are some really, really basic things that they do, which is drinking water, which is, moving every day, which is connecting with other people, whether that be on the phone or whether that be in person. Yeah, so just coming back to those really basic things that can help us, live our best life. We're humans who want connection. We crave connection. But what's really important for us is that our body speaks to us. And when our body is speaking to us, we need to listen to it because it's going to tell us what's going on.
What's going on? We need to step
away
from. We need to step away from. I think sometimes everything that's happening on Facebook, because we're in that race to keep up with everybody, and it's our own race, it's our own journey, and we need to live life how we want to live it. That makes sense.
It totally makes sense. And there was one thing that I would love to finish on, and that would be that if you are someone who puts on the TV of a morning or puts on the radio or picks up the phone first thing in the morning, I would challenge you to not do that, because these things generally are more a negative piece of message that we're going to get absorbing into our brain first thing in the morning, which is going to flip our day around and have it in a more negative aspect than a positive, and we want it to be more positive than negative. Now, if you use your phone for an alarm, which I do, but generally I'll be up before the alarm anyway, so it's not a big thing. It's just a fallback position for me. But if you do, then you flip the alarm off and then you go about doing whatever is going to set your day up. Daily routines are so important. Those first few habits that we do of a morning, those first few actions, they're the things that are really important to changing your life. So if you're someone who, gets straight on social media and then potters around, walking around aimlessly, then that's the tone for the day. Whereas if you're someone who wakes up, takes a nice deep breath, thinks about what you're thankful for, sets a bit of an intention for the day, then you've set your day up in a very different manner. And it will make your day feel a lot better. Anything you want to finish on, Sel?
Just be consistent. That's all I'm adding in.
Absolutely, be consistent.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Okay. So ladies, if you're finding that you have any of these challenges, as I said, we see lots of different challenges when it comes to our health and fitness, whether it's weight loss, whether it's aches and pains, whether it's, lack of motivation. It's taking the action. It's taking that first step. So if you need a hand taking the first step, just message us. Tell us what's happening.
Absolutely.
And reach out. Just reach out to us and we'll give you some ideas about what you might be able to do that will just give you that one thing that you can change, and then you can do it consistently until it becomes part of your normal daily routine.
Yes.
Thanks for joining me today, Sel.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me, as always. Happy Monday, ladies. Thanks for joining us, Ruth. You can go and exercise now.
Yeah. What do you do for the first and last 30 minutes of your day sets the tone completely? Absolutely. I have a setup and a wind down routine. I have both of those ends totally covered. That's a whole other topic. Yeah. totally a whole other topic. So thanks for joining us today, Ruth. Love all your input here. So lots of information. Fantastic. And so what we're going to be doing is we will be back here on Wednesday, and we are continuing with our theme, which is starting or finishing 2020 strong, because 2020 has been one of those years where, you know, it's thrown most of us around a little bit. And so, but we do have 2 months in the year left. So we've still got time to make some changes and to finish the way we want to finish. And so that's exactly what we're going to be talking about all this month. If you're not in our free group, which is Women Over 50, Get Active and Healthy, you're more than welcome to join us. We've got the link up there, so all you have to do is click on that, head over, join us, grab your freebies, and, you know, you might find in those freebies that there's one little thing that is exactly what you're looking for. All right, ladies, so have a super awesome day, and we'll see you on Wednesday. See you, Sel.
See you Wednesday. Bye.
Okay, see you then. Bye.
Bye.